ready for some football. I don't know about you. Who else could it be but your man Lou? Yeah.
Who else could it be? For me, your man, Louie T. Welcome to Sunday Night Football overtime. Eagles, Rams. Game went pretty much according to plan. Kind of figured that the Eagles would dominate this football game. The Rams aren't a very good team. We talked about this in previous streams. They've been on prime time. It feels like 3 or 4 times here in the last month and a half. They had the Vikings game. That was a good one for them when their season was kind of teetering on the brink of destruction. They were talking about trading Cooper Kupp, and they won that game, and they held on to him. Then they had the Dolphins game. That was a disaster on a Monday night. And then this one. So we've talked quite a bit about the Rams. And Matthew Stafford's old and, can't move like he used to. Still very, very good when given time, but he didn't have a lot of it tonight. Credit that Eagles front for that. And the Eagles start slow. And I've talked about this. I said, if you're going to get to the Eagles, you got to do it early. Okay. Another slow start for them. The Rams' first 2 possessions were beautiful, except Kyren Williams fumbled on the first possession of the game. Can't do that if you're going to beat a team that's better than you. And that's been an issue for Kyren Williams going all the way back to Notre Dame. He fumbled in college. He has the most fumbles of any running back over the last 2 years. He's got 8 of them. He fumbled again tonight and fumbled twice tonight. He lost the first one, didn't lose the second one, but lost the first one, but fumbled twice tonight. So that's been an ongoing issue for him. It reared its ugly head on the opening possession, but they were going up and down the field on the Eagles in the first quarter, but they only had a touchdown to show for it. And again, with this Eagles team, you got to get them early because once they settle in and they figure it out, they're going to take off. And they got into their bag in the second quarter defensively, slowed the Rams down, pretty much shut them down at that point. And then the offense, again, slow. And I told you you got to take advantage while they're struggling offensively because eventually they're going to hit their stride. And that's the thing that makes it so difficult dealing with the Eagles is that you got to deal with Saquon Barkley now. And I remember when there was that squabbling back and forth with he and the Giants. And I was like, I don't give a shit where you go. I just want you out of the division. I didn't care where he went. Could have stayed in the NFC, could have went in the AFC. Really didn't care. I just wanted him out of the division. Of all places for him to go to Philadelphia, where you could argue the best offensive line in football resides, was a match made in heaven for the Eagles, but it was a disaster for everyone else. And you're seeing it come to fruition. He's had injury issues in the past. He's had none of those this year. And behind that line, they showed you the stat that makes the biggest difference in the world. 1.4 yards before contact when he was a member of the Giants, 2.6 yards. So this man has essentially 3 yards of runway space before he even encounters his first defender and gets touched. You add to the fact that he's Saquon Barkley, one of the most dynamic and explosive backs in football, and there is a opportunity for a big play. And we saw it tonight. The man had 255 yards of all-purpose offense, including over 200 yards rushing, the 2 big ones. The last one was just a little cherry on top, but the first one to start the third quarter was a thing of beauty. The jump cut to get to the outside and then the speed to accelerate, and he gets to top speed in probably 3 steps. And boy, when he turned on the afterburners, it was God bless and good night. Everybody drive home safe. And it was at that point when I said, this one's over. It was 13-6. That made it 20-6. This one feels over. this one feels done. Well, I think it was actually 13-7. That made it 20-7. I said, this one feels done. Rams went down the field, scored a touchdown, made it interesting, but that would be really all she wrote at that point. The Eagles took total command of the game afterwards. They would go down, they would score another touchdown. They would really put the clamps down on them defensively. And that was pretty much it. This thing kind of got out of control. The Rams missed a field goal that, it didn't really feel like it was going to matter anyway. But, if you wanted to stay connected, be nice to add some points there. They couldn't do it. And from that point, the Eagles, like I said, they just took total control of this game, ultimately win it 37-20, improved to 9-2 on the season, second best record in the NFC, tied for the second best record in the NFC with Minnesota, behind the 9-1 Detroit Lions, 10-1 Detroit Lions. Hurts, another solid game, manages the game. Like I said, he's a passenger with this operation. They don't ask him to do much, and he doesn't have to do much. Just make timely throws, and he does that. Make timely runs, and he does that as well. And this is another night, man, threw 22 passes, 15 completions on 22 passes for a buck and some change, probably like a 180 something, maybe 190 something. I don't know if he made it that high, but again, manage the game. Don't turn it over. Something he struggled with early in the season. He's cleaned that up. Not many turnovers to speak of late. So take care of the football, make timely throws, run the football. If you get into a 3rd and 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 situation, they don't keep contained. He's excellent at breaking that contain, getting up the field, and getting the first down. He did that several times tonight as well. But all in all, when you look at this Eagles offense, it's powered by the engine that is Saquon Barkley, and he showed you once again tonight why they're going to be a tough team to beat if you cannot stop Saquon Barkley. That is objective 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And the Rams weren't able to do that tonight. And so you see the end result. Defensively, this Eagles defense is starting to really establish themselves as one of the best in the NFL. Like, you start talking about being able to just rush 4, and that's what they did. They really blitz a lot tonight. They were able to rush 4. Jalen Carter is a handful. He's commanding double and even sometimes triple teams. What the hell happened with Brandon Graham tonight? He found the fountain of youth. Didn't look like he got a little nicked up. I saw him on the sidelines getting some medical attention. Don't know what happened there. I don't know if he returned to the game or not, but they couldn't block him tonight. He was a problem. Josh Sweat had an injury in the second half, but before then he was problematic. Milton Williams continues to be problematic. And you know how refreshing it is when someone is commanding a double team to just have other guys win one-on-one matchups. And that's what the Eagles continue to do up front. And it allows them to do so many things. When you don't have to blitz to get pressure on the quarterback, it is a beautiful thing. But then when they did decide to send pressure, and they did do that on some third down situations, they really made Matthew Stafford feel uncomfortable. There were open receivers down the field, and Slay's injury didn't help matters. But even before he got hurt, the Rams, they got 2 of the better receivers. They're one of the better 2-man tandems at the receiver position in the league. So, it was going to be a tough task to put those 2 under wraps. But they were able to disrupt Matthew Stafford. And that's the key to really defending any solid pass game in the NFL, is to disrupt the quarterback, especially when you got 2 receivers like the ones. Really, the Rams have about 3 really good receivers, because I really like DeMarcus Robinson as well. When you got some guys that catch the football like they do, you got to get to the quarterback, because the likelihood of you being able to stop them in the secondary is not very high. And they were able to get to Stafford, make him uncomfortable, sack him, disrupt him. They had issues with the ground game early, clean that up. And once they put the lid on Kyren Williams, they were really able to control that Rams offense. And we saw the success that Rams had, a lot of it predicated off the ability to run with Kyren Williams. He had 44 yards in that first quarter, and the Rams as an offense had over 100 yards of total offense in that first quarter. They were moving the football very successfully. They took Kyren Williams away, which took the run game away, which put Matthew Stafford on an island essentially to have to go win the game. And the Eagles simply were not going to allow that to happen. And they were phenomenal, again, defensively tonight. If they're not the number 1 scoring defense in football, they got to be dangerously close with another game of pretty much giving up next to nothing. I would assume Detroit's up there with them right now. Detroit had another game where they gave up single digits, I believe. Did the Colts get a touchdown? I felt like that was like a 24-6 type win or something like that. And they beat the Jacksonville Jaguars up 52-6 last week. So they might be up there from scoring points, defensive-wise standpoint. But the Eagles have to be right there as well. Another game in which they shut down the offense, the opposing team's offense. And so this is a total team victory for the Philadelphia Eagles. Really start to finish. Again, the first quarter was a slow start. And again, I talk about this all the time with the Eagles. If you're going to get the Eagles, you better get them early, because once the Eagles are able to settle into the game, if you don't have I don't want to say a sizable lead. There's not many times you're going to see the Eagles trailing by a lot of points, by multiple scores in a football game. But if you haven't established yourself while they're struggling and they're within reach, and when I say within reach, it's a 3-0, a 7-3 type. If that's all you've done, like the Rams needed to have 2 touchdowns to show for that first quarter dominance. And 2 excellent drives. One ended in a touchdown, the other ended in a fumble. They needed 14 points. It needed to be 14-3. And another thing, I will say this is a minor thing. I think if there's one Achilles heel for the Eagles, offensively, it's their red zone efficiency. I don't think they're a very efficient red zone offense right now. If there were one thing that I could say that may slow them down when they find and meet better opponents, it's their lack of red zone efficiency. I know they had 2 possessions early in the game that resulted in field goals. I think they cleaned it up later. A.J. Brown had a catch that was very close to not being a touchdown, but that would have brought up a 3rd down. They could have been in another position. That was when it was, if I'm not mistaken, 7-6 at that point. That made it 13-7, and they never trailed again in the game. But their red zone efficiency, it wasn't good against Washington last week. It wasn't good again tonight. That's something to keep an eye on. They've struggled in that department this season. They've had red zone turnovers. Those have kind of went away. They had one against Dallas, though. Hurts threw an interception in the end zone. So that's not as big of an issue as it was early in the season, where he was turning it over quite a bit in the red zone. But that's been a problem. Red zone efficiency is the one thing offensively I see with this team that they need to clean up if they want to take that next step offensively. But they've got it clicking on all cylinders basically on defense right now, stopping the run, then having an opportunity to get to your quarterback and putting a cap on the big plays, making you earn it. And eventually they feel like something's going to go awry, something's going to go amiss on the drive, whether it's a sack or, they're able to knock a ball away, something to that effect. They're going to do something to disrupt your drive. Don't give up big plays. Make teams earn it in this league, and the Eagles do that, and eventually they're going to get to you. So 37-20 victory over the Rams for the Eagles in this game. If you're the Rams, you're 5-6. And the beauty of everything around you is, with the Seahawks winning over the Cardinals, you're 1 game out of first place, right? So as bad as it may feel to lose this game, if you're the Rams, to not be able to put it together, you beat the Patriots last week. You were hoping to make it 2 straight after the ugly loss on Monday night a couple of weeks ago to the Dolphins. Is uneven as it feels right now. Guess what? You're 1 game out of first place. So you just keep chopping wood. You try to, get back to the drawing board, figure out what it is you need to do. I can tell you this. I think that defensively, they're solid, but they're not going to beat good teams with the defense that they play. They're not good enough defensively to win games strictly off the strength of their defense. So in saying that, they've got to be better on offense. And the inconsistency there is, I think, what the biggest issue is. Because defensively, I think they're good enough to give themselves a chance, just like we saw against the Dolphins. They gave up 23 points in that game. Problem was, didn't score an offensive touchdown in that game. They kicked 5 field goals, and they lost the game 23-15, right? That was a good enough defensive performance to win. Last week, they played the Patriots. Wasn't the cleanest defensive performance, but they gave up 22 points, and the offense scored 28, and they won. And if they can find a way to be more consistent offensively, they'll have a chance to win games. But the problem is when they play good offenses, their defense isn't good enough to hold good offenses down consistently. And so you're going to have to score points. And they've been inconsistent in that department, whether it's the offensive line, which struggled mightily tonight, Kyron Williams and that run game not getting off to a great start. In this case, they did, but not being able to sustain it for 4 quarters. And then having to put it all on Stafford, who at this point of his career isn't in a position where he can drag a team across the finish line. He's not, this isn't the Stafford that can throw it 52 times for 378, 4 touchdowns and an interception and lead you to a win. That's asking too much of Matthew Stafford at this juncture of his career. He needs the aid of the run game. He needs consistency from that offensive line. He's not getting either right now. And the defense, they need to create some sort of turnovers. They need to create some short fields. They did it last week against New England. They didn't do it this week. They didn't do it against Miami. I think they had 1 or 2 turnovers they may have forced against Miami, but they could be better. And then their rookie kicker, Joshua Carty, also missing kicks. That doesn't help. He's missed a kick now, I think, in 3 or 4 straight games. So they're not good enough to overcome mistakes, right? That's why they're a 5-16, okay? They've got to be better. They've got to be sharper. And they were playing a team that was better than them tonight in the Philadelphia Eagles. They made mistakes. They had the fumble early. They missed opportunities. They had some penalties. The penalties went both ways. Obviously, both of the Rams touchdowns early were big, beneficiaries of pass interferences that put the ball down inside the 5-yard line. So, and you could debate both of those pass interference calls. I thought the first one was a penalty. I did not think, I thought watching it live, the second one was a penalty. And then I watched it back and I'm like, that's not a penalty. So I was wrong about that one, but they threw the flag there. I did think the first one on Slay was a penalty, as I did think he hooked him and kind of pulled him down a little bit. But the second one on Rodgers, I didn't think was a penalty at all. So I thought that, both teams benefited from some penalty calls that were questionable. And thus, when it's all said and done, the Rams they aren't good enough to overcome a ton of mistakes. And they made some mistakes in this game. And you couple that with a non-existent run game after the first quarter, inability to protect Matthew Stafford. Did they convert a 3rd down tonight? That's one of my favorite statistics to go by. You really get a lot out of 3rd downs. They went 0 of 8 on them. Who are you beating going 0 of 8 on 3rd downs, right? Now, they were very successful on 4th downs tonight. I think they went 100% on 4th downs. They were 3 of 3 on 4th downs. But who you beating going 0 of 8 on 3rd downs, though, right? So, that's the kind of stuff I'm talking about. You got to credit the Eagles defensively for that. Obviously, they got to Stafford. They made him uncomfortable. They tackled well. That's something else that really good defenses do, is tackle well. Chauncey Gardner-Johnson coming down and hitting Cooper Kupp as he's trying to stretch the ball over the first down yardage marker. Couldn't do it. Good defenses tackle well. The Eagles tackled extremely well. They don't give you a lot after the catch. And so you go 0 of 8. I don't know if you're going to win many games in this league doing that. And of course, it didn't happen for the Rams tonight. So let's get to the comment section. Before we do that, we're going to go ahead and jump inside the odds brought to you by BetUS. Take a look at the odds for tonight's game, and then we'll come back on the other side and jump in the comment section.
Inside the odds.
Looking for a new book this football season? BetUS has you covered. Fastest payouts in the industry. Get up to 10% back on your net losses twice a year, as long as you've been active within the last 6 months. And here's the big kicker for brand new users: use the promo code YouTube150 to give you a 150% sign-up bonus on your first deposit up to $2,000, and your next 2 deposits of 125% sign-up bonus on your next 2 deposits of $100 or $2,000. YouTube 150 is the promo code to get you a 150% sign-up bonus on your first deposit up to $2,000 and 125% on your next 2 deposits up to $2,000. When you use that promo code YouTube150, and remember, bet responsibly, Don't bet more than you can afford to lose. And most importantly, do not, I repeat, do not chase your losses. So the spread, Eagles were 3-point favorites. They covered that with ease tonight, winning this game by 17 points. The total was 50.5. Vegas knew points would be scored in this game, and that they were 57 to be exact. So the number was 50.5. The over was hit there. The real question now for me, and I tried to find it and I couldn't find it because the game was already going, and so the odds always change. I want to see where Saquon Barkley is in the MVP race. And one of these games, the Eagles will be on prime time again at some point later on in the season. I'd bet money on that. Something's getting flexed. They'll end up in prime time once more. I want to see what the MVP odds are for Saquon Barkley. He's got to be rapidly moving up the charts. It's the MVP award generally is a quarterback award. If there's a quarterback playing really well on a good team, that guy's going to usually win the MVP. And so you've got to literally go over 2,000 yards and carry your team. Saquon Barkley is doing that. If he can eclipse 2,000 yards rushing this season, which is not out of the realm of possibility. Now, he would be the first to do it in a 17-game, arena, which would kind of change the way we see it just a bit, because you got to go all the way back. O.J. Simpson did it in a 14-game season, and then the guys that followed him did it in a 16-game season. So you would have people like that. There's no more impressive feat than when O.J. Simpson did it, because he did it in a 14-game season. Everybody else did it in 16 games, and now if Saquon can do it this year, it'll be in 17 games. So it's a little bit different, but I digress. If he does it, it's still adding another name to a very illustrious and elite group. And that's going to put him squarely in the middle of the MVP race. Right now, I think Josh Allen is your leader in the clubhouse. Lamar's not going to go away, but if the Bills end up with the number 1 seed or even the number 2 seed in the conference, and Allen is, continuing to play the way he plays, it's going to be hard to wrestle that award away from him. But boy, Saquon is in that discussion. And I want to see where he is. I want to see where he is, odds-on favorite-wise. I'd love to see if he's 3rd, if he's 4th, is he 5th. I don't see how he can't be in the top 3 right now in that discussion, maybe even only behind Josh Allen at this point. But there are other guys playing really well this year. But it's going to be pretty hard to see anybody outside of Allen right now. I mean, Goff is continuing to play really well, and his name keeps popping up, but I can't see him being a better candidate right now than Saquon Barkley. I think Allen right now is the only guy that I would put ahead of Saquon in that race. But he continues to stockpile the numbers that he's putting up, and you do it on a stage like the one he did it on tonight, where everybody's watching. It just adds to that. It adds to your portfolio and the case that you're making for yourself. So I definitely want to see where those odds are. And I'm going to snatch those off of the Bet US site probably the next time the Eagles play on primetime. And we'll take a look at those numbers and kind of see where Saquon is in that MVP race. So I want to give a big shout out to Bet US for sponsoring this stream and providing us with those numbers for this game. So let's get to the comment section. And we will jump in. Before we do that, let me go ahead and let everybody know. If you want your comment read on the air, use the hashtag LouieTLive to have your comment read on the air if it is pertinent and time permits. I can't assure you that we will get to your comment. Can't assure you that your comment will be one that I will read. But if you want it to have a chance to be read, use the hashtag LouieTLive. But if you want your comment to be read, if you want to ensure that your comment is read on the air, super chats are the way to do that. Use the super chat function that'll allow you to jump not only straight to the front of the line, but have your comment read on the air and reacted to. And so with that said, we get to the comment section. Jonathan Himes, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Writes, LB finna have a field day with you, Louie. do you think I am in the slightest concerned about what LB is or isn't doing? Look at my face. Let me hold on. But you thought I was going to be scared, or I'm like, oh man, I don't know what I've got to do. You think I give a damn? I don't. I'm just fine right where I'm at. LT, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Who writes, game manage Saquon to first seed. That's essentially what you're doing right now. You're gonna need some help. Detroit does play in a tough division, but I think they've gone into the two toughest environments that they're gonna have to do now. Chicago's no pushover, but they've already gone to Minnesota. They've already gone to Green Bay, and they've won both of those games. I don't know how many tough games they've got left on the schedule, but if you can somehow, and who did they lose to? Detroit's one loss. Who did that come to? Tampa Bay. Okay. That's a common opponent. You both lost to Tampa Bay. It's an NFC team, so that's good. You've lost to two NFC teams. That's not good. So if they were to lose, you would need them to lose to another NFC team, and then we'd get into the tiebreaker thing. But you're going about it the right way. Run the football with Saquon Barkley. That's going to give you your best bet to get where you want to go, ultimately. Are the Washington Commanders frauds yet? I don't know. They're looking very fraudulent as we speak, but 5 games left. We'll see what happens. But right now, yeah, they are looking pretty fraudulent. I will admit. Pretty disappointed in how these last 3 games have turned out, but still plenty of football left to be played. And we'll find out how fraudulent they are. If they don't make the playoffs, they were complete frauds, obviously. If they make the playoffs, I'm excited about that. I'm excited about bonus football, but one game at a time. One game at a time. So the next team up on the docket are the Tennessee Titans. We'll take it from there. That's all we're focused on at this point. Casper the Barbarian, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Who writes, I resent that slow start remark, Lou. Scored 3 out of 4 possessions in the first half. So you calling scoring 6 points early in that game a quick start? You scored 13 points on 3 out of your 4 possessions. You scored right before halftime. 13 points. And again, they had a fumble. You forced it. So I got to give you credit for that. And then they scored another touchdown. If they had scored 2 touchdowns, and if and buts were candy and nuts, oh, what a wonderful world it would be. I'm aware of that. But they were moving the football. You saw what they did on their first 2 possessions, especially the second one when they went in and got into the end zone. You can argue about the officials gifting them points the way they moved the football, right? You can call it whatever you want. You can call it whatever you like. Yeah, I'm just telling you, the facts are what they are. Started slow against Washington. You started slow. You have, I would argue, you probably have the fewest first quarter points of any team in the league. I could be wrong about that. There's some pretty bad teams, but you're among some bad company when it comes to first quarter scoring. So you can resent that statement all you like, but the numbers are what they are. You struggle early in football games. You struggled early tonight. You gave up 144 yards in the first quarter to the Rams, and if not for a fumble, you could have easily been down 14-3 in the first quarter. So again, you can resent that. I'm just coming at you with facts. Take it for what it's worth, right? Commander Cole, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB, who writes, I think 10 wins is the magic number for the 7 seed. Commanders, Cardinals, Rams, Seahawks can get it, but I ultimately think the Commanders get it. I mean, I don't want to talk about anything playoff related. I don't. I'm like, my focus is laser like. I'm back to where I was at the beginning of the season. Yep. Tennessee Titans. That's all I care about. Don't want to talk about anything else because we can't handle talking about anything else. So, zoop. Tractor beam, laser like focus. I'm like Cyclops. Boom. If I take these glasses off, that blast is going to be so bright that you can't even see, right? So I'm going to keep the shades on because my focus is on the Tennessee Titans. That's it. That's it. Marquell Randall, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB who writes, Hurts has the life, handoff to Saquon, throw to A.J. Brown and Smitty, and arguably the best O-line, a quarterback's dream. That's what you try to build for your team. That's what you try to build for your quarterback. You don't pay Jalen Hurts all that money to not protect him, to not give him weapons, to not give him somebody to hand the football off to. That's what you want. You want to put your quarterback in that kind of a incubator, so to speak. They have fostered an environment that is conducive to winning year in and year out because you build from within. They're good in the trenches. They got great wideouts. You got the best running back in the league. And so all you have to do is make winning plays when your number is called. And that's what Jalen Hurts does. So it's a great gig. It's a really good gig. Jack M, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Leonard Williams was straight up dominant today for my Hawks. And Mac is bringing the best out of Witherspoon. Thanks as always, Louie. I can't wait to watch. I saw that Kyler threw a pick 6 today. And you guys won that game 16-6. And I thought y'all could win. I picked y'all on one of my sheets this week. I should have picked you on the main sheet. I knew y'all could win that game because I'm not sold on Arizona yet. I'm not. But this is the one thing you know that your coach is going to bring to the table, and that's defense. Like Mike McDonald knows what he's doing on the defensive side of the football. And if y'all don't do anything else, y'all are going to fight, scratch, claw defensively, and give yourselves a chance. And if the offense can do just enough, which you did today, you're going to win the game. But 16, it's a stretch. You can win many games doing that, right? But you got it done last week against the 49ers. You hung in there. The defense gave you enough opportunities, and the offense finally was able to take advantage late. And you got it done this weekend. So just like that, look, man, what a difference a month makes. A month ago, you looked like you were dead in the water. 49ers came to your house on a Thursday, beat you, and it felt like, everything was kind of spinning around you and like, uh-oh, you're about to spiral here. And you were at, 4-5. You were at 4-5. I think when the 49ers beat you, you were 4-4. Then I think you went and you lost to the Rams at home after that in overtime, if I'm not mistaken. And you were 4-5. And you were left for dead. I was checking for a pulse, and I was like, official time of death, week 10. Let's call it 7:47. But somehow, we got that defibrillator, charge. All of a sudden, that heart's beating again. And y'all are back like cut crack. 2 wins in a row against 2 NFC West opponents after you had lost the 2 NFC West opponents in a row. And just like that, you're back. And I'm going to tell you what it was. I think it was that win on the road against the Falcons that brought y'all back to life. Because I feel like it was lost to 49ers, win against the Falcons, and then lost to the Rams. I could be wrong, and I could be out of way. I think you might have went to Atlanta after the loss to the Lions on a Monday night because you were spiraling. It felt like you were spiraling, but that was a big win on the road against Atlanta. And then to go and win 2 in a row here in the division, the win last week against San Francisco might have saved your season. And you still can win this damn division. As crazy as that seemed just a week ago, you can win this division. So look out for the dang on Seattle Seahawks. I was starting to whole, hey, let's get Sam Howell out there. Let me see my boy Sam fling it around the field a little bit. Let him throw it around the yard. And Gino's like, hey, hold on, bro. Are you trying to write me off? We already had this conversation. I'm not writing back. My bad, Gino. My bad. Desert. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Or DSRT. Right. Louie T, Bucks fan here. Pulling for y'all to beat the Atlanta Pigeons. That's way down the road. Yep, Tennessee Titans. Yep. We need them to lose all the way out. As you know, we beat down the Giants, smoked those boys. You did what you were supposed to do to them. They're currently running the play to perfection over there. And it was funny watching their locker room after the game because it's starting to get a little dicey over there. Malik Neighbors, look, you knew what you was drafting when you drafted him, right? But anyway, what's your Bucks record? Y'all 5-6 now? Is that where y'all at? Let me check and see. Feel like y'all about a game under 500 right now. And you got a very doable schedule too. So I see y'all getting real hot coming up. Yep, 5-6. You got the Panthers next week, then the Raiders. There's 2 straight wins. That'll be 3 straight in a row. Then you got the Chargers, the Cowboys. So you got a couple of toughies there potentially. Cowboys haven't quit. Chargers are a good football team. And then you finish up with Panthers and Saints. Anytime you play in a division, it's tough, but they're both home games as well. So I could see you winning 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I can see you winning 5 out of your last 7, and it easily could be 6 out of 7. So you got a chance to get really hot, end up at 10-7, right? This season. I could see that happening. And put yourself in a position to make these playoffs. If you get to 10-7, you could win the division if you get to 10-7. I don't know what the hell Atlanta on. Speaking of Atlanta, no, they were on a bye this week, but I'm actually curious as to where they are. You know, you lost to them twice, so you would have to finish 1 game better than them, obviously, to win that division. But they come off the bye. They got the Chargers when they next week. Then they got the Vikings, the Raiders, the Giants. Okay, so then they got us, and then they finish up with the Panthers. So they got a very easy schedule too. But they could definitely lose to the Chargers. They could definitely lose to the Falcons, but they should beat the Raiders, Giants, and the Panthers. So, and then they got us, and who knows what the hell will happen in that game. So we'll see what happens. You got to just take care of your business first. And then after that, you go from there, right? All right, let's get to the comment section. Let's see where we at. Well, we might be already. We might be done tonight. Get in and get out. Just look like a bunch of Eagles fans. Let me ask y'all something. Y'all don't have no content creators that y'all can go to after the game to be excited about? Just a question. I'm glad y'all here. I welcome the extra views and all of that good stuff. I'm not mad. I'm just curious. Y'all don't actually have like somebody you could go to their channel after the game so you can celebrate? Just a question. Just a question. Samuel S. writes, getting benched may have actually saved Bryce Young's career. What was the title of my last podcast episode? A little break ain't never hurt nobody, right? Everybody who's gotten benched and come back looks better because of it. All right. Every single quarterback this season has gotten benched. Anthony Richardson looks better. Bryce Young looks better. Will Levis looks better. Every quarterback that has gotten benched and then reinserted into the lineup. A little break ain't never hurt nobody. A little break ain't never hurt nobody now. All right. DJ23, right? I'm disgusted on what I saw on the field today. I need a break. I'm taking my bye week early. Hang in there, man. You just got one more week, and then you get an official bye week. Away from the squad, decompress, woosah, all that good stuff. You just got to get through one more game, man. Real goated. Lions or Eagles? I got the Lions, man. Look, the Lions, to me, I said this already. If you watch my podcast, I give out my power index. The Lions are the best team in football right now. The Lions are the best team in football right now. Jay Black, right? Lou, I need you to stop going back and forth with LB. He got some kind of voodoo magic going. Every time he says something, it happens. LOL. No, I'm not going to stop going back and forth with him, but it's easy for him to make statements because what have we done? We haven't done anything, right? So if he says, man, y'all ain't making the playoffs, and we don't make the playoffs, we haven't made the playoffs since 2020. So what is he really saying, right? Y'all going to lose to the Cowboys. If we would have beat, this is my thing. Like, it's easy to throw that out there. He's done that a million times. He's wrong more times than he's right. But when he's right, he looks like he's a genius because he said it. He predicted it. But if he would have been wrong, which he usually is wrong, because he does that to he used to do that to the Cowboys every year. Y'all going to lose to the Rams. Then they would beat the Rams by 30. Is anybody coming back to him and, hey, you said we was going to lose? Nobody gives a shit because they were supposed to beat them, right? If we would have beat the Cowboys, I wouldn't have went to him. I thought we was going to lose to the Cowboys because he just threw out some bullshit to see if it would stick, and it stuck. So, look, his team is good. Ours is trying to get to where they are. There's a process that you have to go through to get there. We're currently going through that process. It sucks. Going through the process sucks, but I've been there before. I've seen this process. I know it works. So I'm not tripping, right? I'm not tripping about it. But you got to take your lumps while you're going through the process. So here we are. 7-5, playing meaningful football in December. What more can you ask for? That's where we are, right? Comacel Brown, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Who writes, hell, after the bye, if we want to beat the Titans, Lattimore has to play, especially if we have running back issues now. He doesn't play offense. The defense has played well enough for us to win each of the last 3 games, including the Pittsburgh game, even though they pissed us off at the end. They always piss us off at the end. Did the same thing against the Eagles. The defense has given us a chance to win each of the last 3 games. Lattimore don't play defense, or offense rather, unless he's physically picking off passes and running them for touchdowns or putting us like literally at the 2 or 3 yard line. We'll see what kind of an impact. I won't say he won't make any difference because we gave up a stupid field goal before halftime because, you know, Benjamin St. Juice is Benjamin St. Juice. And it wasn't just him. Jeremy Chin got beat on that play as well. But if he does what I think he can do for this defense, it'll change how we're able to defend drastically. And maybe we can get a little bit more aggressive in some of the things we're doing. And maybe we won't let a guy like Cooper Rush look like a damn Pro Bowl quarterback. So, you know, maybe we won't be playing 28 yards off of CeeDee Lamb, like CeeDee Lamb's a 4-3 burner or some shit. I don't know. Just a thought. So maybe Marshawn Lattimore's presence will actually change what we do schematically. We'll see. But I just want him to be healthy whenever he plays, whether that's this week against the Titans coming up or it's after the bye against the Saints. He's going to play. He's going to make his Commander's debut in one of the next 2 games, either this one coming up on Sunday or the one right after the bye. Either way, he's going to be on the field in a Commander's uniform here shortly. So we'll see what that looks like, right? Abrel Ambrosio writes, tough loss for the Eagles, losing. Oh, no. No, don't say that. What happened? What happened to Brandon Graham? I saw him over there with the doctors, but it didn't look serious. He wasn't in the blue tent or nothing. What do you mean done for the year? I needed some clarification on that. DJ23, thank you for the super chat. Or DJ23 writes, we need Terry and Noah to switch jerseys or something. Look, man, I've been talking about this for the last month. I wish there was a reason why we can't understand that Terry should lead the team in targets every week and not Noah Brown. But I got nothing for you. Torn triceps? Is that a real thing? Has that been reported officially? Torn triceps for Brandon Graham? Oh man, if that's legit, that could be the end of his career. I mean, I can't see him going out like that though. Like, he was playing so well. Golly, man, that's terrible. Yeah, okay. I see y'all saying that he confirmed it himself. Jesus. I hate to hear that, man. Like, you never want somebody to get hurt. Especially to that, extent where season's done. Jeez Louise. This is the only silver lining is that the Eagles have depth on the defensive line, but it's hard to replace a veteran like Brandon Graham. Like, that veteran leadership is hard to replace. Yikes. That's terrible. On a night that was fun to watch, if you're an Eagles fan, that's the one thing to put a slight damper on your night. Saquon Barkley goes for 255 on the ground. I think I said that was all purpose. That might have been just on the ground. Let me double check. It might have been all purpose. I know he caught a couple screens in the game. He had the one that was a dope catch on the sidelines where he put his knee down and caught it up over his head. That was clean. So I know he had some catches in this game. Saquon ran for 255. Almost averaged 10 yards a carry. This dude is ridiculous. And he had 47 yards. Man, over 300 yards of all-purpose offense by himself. How many yards did the Rams have as an offense? I wonder if he outgained them by himself. I'm curious now. Let's see. Saquon had 255 plus 47. 40 plus 55 is 95. Plus 7 is 302 yards. Let's go to the stats. The Rams had 290 total. He outgained the Rams by himself. Unbelievable. Unfreaking believable. Saquon Barkley outgained the Los Angeles Rams by himself, 302 to 290. Yikes. Eagles win the game 37-20 over the Los Angeles Rams, improved to 9-2 on the season, have the NFC East essentially in a stranglehold at this point, with the Commanders losing today to the Dallas Cowboys and dropping to 7-5. That's now 7 straight victories for the Eagles. And this is the scary part. The defense continues to improve, but the offense is now finding its stride as well. That's going to be a fun game. I wish they would have flexed that one to Sunday night next week. Eagles and Ravens, that one's going to be juicy next week. That's going to be a lot of fun to watch. Can't wait to watch that game. That one's going on the big screen. All right, that one is going on the big screen. If that's a 1 o'clock start, my Commanders are playing. That Eagles-Ravens game going on the big TV will be relegated to small TV duties because of that one. That's going to be a good one. Meanwhile, for the Rams, look, you lost the game, but you're 1 game back of first place in the NFC West. So just keep chopping wood, keep going after it, and let the chips fall where they may at the end of this season. Crazy NFC West division right now. It's anybody's guess who's going to win that division. The 49ers are struggling. The Rams are struggling, but 6-5 is the division leader right now. So just keep chopping wood, right? Anyway, I digress. that's going to do it for me, your man Louie T, here on Sunday Night Football Overtime. Give a quick shout out to BetUS. If you're looking for a new book, BetUS, I'm telling you, got some great odds. Check out that prop builder too. You know, that thing is a lot of fun to play around with, and you can make yourself some money if you've got yourself a hunch. Put it together yourself. All right, but use the promo code YouTube150 to get you 150% off or 150% sign-up bonus on your first deposit of up to $2,000 and 125% on your next two deposits up to $2,000 when you use the promo code YouTube150. Until next time, I'm your man Louie T, signing off. You guys enjoy the rest of your night. You'll see me a bunch tomorrow. I got a lot of shit to say. But until then, you guys enjoy the rest of your evening. Take care. God bless. And good night.